Bologna, fudge, and mustard, it's the Going Off podcast with rap critic and muse, wishing you happy holidays. With this, the final podcast before the Christmas season. And we're going to do something a little bit special this time. We have a Patreon-requested album review. I believe it's the first Patreon-requested album review in the podcast's history. Taking a look at You Can't See Me by John Cena. Now, do you want to save it, or do you want to get right into that?
What the hell is that first line a reference to?
That, my friend, is just one of the many gold nuggets that you would hear John Cena deliver if you watched Monday Night Raw on a weekly basis.
Why did he say that?
Because for a while there, he was written like a weird cartoon, and he said really stupid shit from time to time.
Bologna, fudge, and mustard, motherfucker!
Yeah, like, someone... God, I don't even remember the context. Okay, this is gonna alienate so many people, but for a short period of time, Monday Night Raw was run by an anonymous general manager who would run the show by emails sent to one of the commentators. And he would say he would book matches and all that. One night, he sent an email in that disagreed with something John Cena just said. So, to express frustration, John Cena said, bologna, fudge, and mustard. And in that same promo, I believe he said his email address was candypants@gmail.org. I don't know. It was a really weird and unfortunate time for pro wrestling.
Nobody likes that time.
This is what's great about people who do reviews and stuff like this. When you don't care what other people say or think, or you really don't pay attention, thinking about all the albums that we've reviewed on this podcast, I was looking over a couple videos, one of which being Anthony's, another one being one from Dead End Hip Hop. The Dead End Hip Hop video had 5 people give their lists of their top 10 favorite albums, of their top 10 favorite rap albums from 2015. And one of them listed the Mac Miller Good AM thing. And Anthony's video, for worst, listed Pound Syndrome. And I just think it's so funny because we gave the Mac Miller thing a pretty lukewarm to negative review, and we were pretty positive on that Hobson album. So it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. You know, fuck everyone else's opinion. It doesn't matter, but I just thought it was so funny.
It's like, it really is opinions, man. Like, you think other people that you associate with, you think you'd have, like, a like-minded thing. It's like, nah, you really, come at this from your own angle, and I come at it from my... Of course, I'm the most right, but,
The most rightest.
But, I just find it very interesting how that works out. Because, I was listening to a podcast that him and D-Respect were doing. By the way, we got to have him back on again.
Yes.
And they were talking about how, their top 10... I don't think they didn't like him, but it was, the top 10 worst rappers that people bring up frequently.
Oh, okay.
And one of them was, one of them was Hobson. And they're like, oh, because he's too preachy, and da-da-da. I'm like, it's like, really?
There was one song on the album which was preachy for 10 seconds.
There was one lyric where he says that people kept dogging him for, where he was like, did the guy who invented college go to college? Okay then. And I just was like, hey, slick little line, whatever. But apparently, the internet was ablaze and going and Hobson thinks he's such a smart ass. Did the guy who invented college go to college? What a smarmy smart ass. It was like, it is an interesting idea because
I didn't take anything away from that. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting line.
Yeah, and that's not me saying anything to them. It's just I did notice how the internet was just over that for some reason. And it's just well, that's a good point, because someone who invents an institution, inherently, they can't have experienced it. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show that it's just another institution at the end of the day. It's a, clever little quip, but people are acting like, oh, you fucking smart ass piece of shit. It's did you actually like think about the question, or did you just go like, "Oh, he said something. Sounds preachy. I hate it." Like,
I think people were already already had something out for Hobson, so I'm not completely defending because I don't think I gave the album a perfect score or anything, but I do think that people were hard on him just for the sake of it.
yeah, just cause I think people do this sort of thing where it's like, "Oh, well, like anyone with a message. Oh, you've got a message? Well, we're just gonna scrutinize every little fucking thing you do and show you how you're just one of us and you suck.
See,
how dare you come with a message?" Same thing that happened to fucking Macklemore.
But see, realize no one did that to Kendrick. And that album was nothing but messages.
Well, actually,
but he's untouchable, so no one fucking questioned it.
No, people are not saying that they didn't like not Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly anymore. Like for the first month, everyone was like, "Oh my god, fantastic album," and then like a month later, all of a sudden, people were like, "It wasn't that great. Oh my god, you guys are overreacting." It's like this weird thing where it's like, do you have to hate it? Like, can't you listen to something and then just not listen to it for a while? And just be like, "Oh yeah, I remember, that was good." Like, why does it have to be everyone praises it and then, "Oh, well, it really actually sucks"? Like, honestly, like, I don't know. There are some things, I feel like there are some things where it's like, it was good, dude. Like, it was good. Just leave it alone. I don't know.
Again, going back to opinions, and these are just opinions, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, the 5 people in that dead end hip hop video, at the end of the day, all 5 of them put To Pimp a Butterfly in their top 3. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying we're right.
I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying, I mean, they are right.
I'm not saying they're right, but they are right though.
No, because it's like, it's one of the most ambitious albums of that year, and I don't know. I just feel like when people are like, "Oh, Dirty Sprite, one of the best albums of the year," like that Rolling Stones list, it's like, are you fucking serious?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like I tried to listen, or that What a Time to Be Alive, Jumpman, no more, no more. It's like, are you fucking?
What is that?
It's that song on the What a Time to Be Alive, where it's like, it's literally Future featuring Drake.
Yeah, that song is shit. That song is fucking garbage.
And I think I'm gonna expound upon this in my worst of video, but it's like, I think people just kind of, because people always go like, "Oh man, he write good hooks though. He got good hooks though. Like, you know how to make hooks." It's like, you realize they're not doing anything special, right? Like, there's not some magical voodoo that they're blessing up on the track that no one else could have brought these exact same words in the exact same way. No, they're just finding a phrase and repeating it in a similar, like in you know, the exact same rhythm, and then it's played the precise amount of times to make it catchy. It's like, it's not hard to do. If I put 50 people in a room and then gave them this one song and made them listen to it once and just got their initial reactions, like, I'm sure most people don't like a lot of songs when they first come out. You know? Like, in fact, remember when Snoop Dogg was talking about Crank That Soldier? He said, "Oh, what's that, Soldier Man? Soldier Boy?" And he's like, when you first heard that, man, that was some bullshit. That was the most honest I've heard Snoop Dogg ever be. And then he was like, "Oh, but then when you saw that other people were into it and you saw that there was a whole package with it, then, you know, your views kind of softened on it." You know what I mean? And that's the same thing that happens. Your brain recognizes the pattern, and so it starts to be a little bit more lenient with it. Like, I've noticed it with Fetty Wap. You know, they're playing his singles more on the radio now. So, you know, I'm hearing it and my brain goes like, "Hey, you know what? That is repeatable." And so, you know, every now and then I randomly find myself going like, "I'm like, it was a bellow." But like,
I have yet to leave a song of his on for its entire duration.
But at the end of the day, like, my critical brain, which it's not like there's some sort of deep thing I'm doing, it's just understanding that, well, he still said hello 3 fucking times for some stupid ass reason. Like, you know, like, how hard is it to be like, he was able to repeat a thing? Awesome. That doesn't mean anything. Like, all of Fetty Wap's songs are just really long choruses. And people are acting like, "Oh man, but he know how to write hooks though. He got a hot song." No, he just repeats things. Like, it's really, like, I feel like I'm the crazy person here. It's like, It's really not that hard. And they say, oh, but you can't do it. But you can't do it. It's like being in the right place at the right time accounts for at least 70% of a lot of these people. And so for you to say, oh, but you couldn't do it, well, how come you ain't doing it? It's like, it's honestly just shit, because there's 50,000 people in this city alone that could be rappers, But the person who makes it, hey, Wale is, I think he's honestly a respectable dude, and I wouldn't put him in that category. But, like, if there's 50,000 people who are all doing I'm repeating a phrase, whoop, I'm repeating a phrase, whoop, like, just by the game of numbers, some of them are going to become popular. There's nothing special that they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Is it wrong for me to look at someone like Fetty Wap or WAP or Future and just think to myself that maybe they don't... I'm gonna get crucified for this.
What?
And, I mean, this is just a gut feeling, and you can agree or disagree, that some of these radio rappers might not have a love for the genre.
That's not controversial at all. Oh, I can totally tell a lot of them don't care.
Like a certain amount of respect, and that at the end of the day, it does just come down to money.
Definitely. Most of them are guys that got lucky. They got lucky. And that's not to say that they, didn't do anything. It's not to say they didn't come in the studio, but I highly doubt the guy who's going like, I'm all about bitches and fucking hoes and money. Like, I highly doubt they got into it because they just really love when the words come together and the lyrics. No. They get into it for the same reason that a lot of people, like, I don't know, would go into the army or go into, like, police or whatever. A lot of people go into it with good intentions. They really want to help people. But there's definitely a percentage of people who are like, I like the feeling of having a badge and a gun and being able to fucking power trip. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people go into rap not because they really love it, because I like the feeling of I'm going to be able to fuck bitches and get money. You know what I mean?
Someone who really turned my mind to the point where I wanted to ask straight ahead if that was a controversial point was Nardwar. Have you ever seen any of his videos?
Is he a part of Future's gang? I mean, Odd Future.
No, Nardwar is, he's a Canadian, I guess, journalist, and he does these one-on-one interviews with musicians. And he's really, almost eccentric, like, he has a weird style about him. But what he'll do is, he'll bring someone out, and then he'll just, ask questions about, things that people wouldn't think to ask him about, and he starts asking about, things they used to listen to and things that inspired them. I watched him interview 2 Chainz, and I watched him interview Juicy J, and that motherfucker made me respect 2 Chainz by the end of it.
Really?
I was like, God damn it, he's just a fucking person who just wants to make shit. And I was like, that's why I'm like, do these people really get in there and that's just what they think is good? Like the Future show up there.
There's just a dissonance.
Yeah, like fucking Fetty sits down there and he fucking recorded Trap Queen, and they're like, all right, Fetty, I think that's the take we're gonna use. Fetty, you okay? And he's just over there, wiping tears from his eyes, and he's like, it's fucking beautiful, man, we're gonna change the world with this. I'd hate to be that guy who I'm just like, man, because, a lot of people, I'm gonna bring this back to wrestling, because we're gonna bring it back later. There's a lot of marks out there who see a guy I don't know if you know this gentleman, but someone like Roman Reigns, and they go, man, he didn't do shit to get where he is. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't love this. And they all assume, based on a small percentage of what they see. And then you see him and it's like, oh no, I've had a deep love for this ever since and you're like, man, fuck, I just wanted to not like you. And now you're making me like you because I'm seeing you're a person.
Well, see, my thing with Roman Reigns is everybody hated him for the longest time, and now they're getting behind him, and now I feel like all the little ignorant fanboys are gonna be like, well, I always liked him, and I'll be like, shut up, I remember Royal Rumble last year, you fucking booed him, shut up.
See, here's the
Asshole.
thing, and not to get off on a tangent here, but Dylan and I, we were watching these pay-per-views for months and a couple of years now. As soon as the Shield got on the scene, we all looked, and we already, to be fair, we already knew who Tyler Black was. We already knew who Jon Moxley was. So we already liked Seth and Dean. And we kind of were a little prejudiced against Roman. But then we look at him, and all we see is a man who needed help doing a powerbomb and didn't have any charisma on the mic. And immediately, we went, fuck that guy, he's the weakest link. And we said that for like 2 years. And not until CM Punk in the interview said, no, I put the Shield together originally, and I put Chris Hero in his place, and I wouldn't have put Roman Reigns in that stable. And immediately, everyone was like, boo, fuck Roman, he's boring. And yet, now all of a sudden, with a boring-ass, really weak face move and punching Vince, now all of a sudden, that's enough to put you over. But, I could talk about that shit all fucking day.
Well, that's actually very interesting. Like, just to say that, like, that kind of makes me think, like, all these people that I think are shit, like, okay, and I'm not saying that he's shit, but like Justin Bieber, or One Direction, nobody really thinks that they really, well, okay, they're kind of different because they have all their shit written for them, but, but I mean, like, for an MC, like, all right, Fetty Wap, I love that thing you said, like, he's just like, all right, we're done with this song, that's a wrap, and then he just goes to the next room, he's just like, my heart and soul, man. I hope these
It's a
people
fucking boyhood dream come true.
Like, he was like just seconds away from just, pulling the trigger or something like that, and then he was just like, no, I gotta write this song first, And like, when he wrote this song and put it out, it was the thing that just, he was so proud of it, that he put the gun down, like, cause he felt meaning in his life now that he got this song out of
There
his
was
soul.
a literal trap queen that walked him back from the ledge. And he put his soul on that paper when he wrote Trap Queen. That was his love note to the woman that fucking, that just saved his life.
And because it doesn't sound like, some deep Adele song, we're all just like, boo, you suck.
It didn't fucking sound like Mortal Man. So we were like, fuck you.
Like,
this shallow bullshit. What is this?
What if it turns out Kendrick Lamar actually just, like, didn't give a fuck and just shit it out and Spimmer Butterfly? Meanwhile, Fetty Wap, with his, like, 20 songs that all sound the same, like, there's actually some deeper, meaning going on, and we're just not catching it.
Yeah, like, Kendrick just has, like, a way about him, like, he's just able to spit, like, really fast, but, like, you see him in the studio, and he's like resting on his chin, like he has his fist on his hand, and he's just, like, fashion police, wear my heart on my sleeve, let the runway start, whatever. When's lunch? Can I just fucking get out of here?
I don't care about it. I deposit every little zero. like he said that speech, like he just thought of that speech that goes on throughout the album, and he's like, how can we make this album longer? I don't know, just chop up the speech and put it at, like, random parts in the... Like, there was no inspiration. It was just like, people will think it sounds cool.
Kendrick's at a fucking party, and they're like, hey, Kendrick, come over here and spit that bullshit you were spitting a while ago. Oh, you mean the, I'm sorry, the, I saw you was conflicted shit? They can eat that shit up! Screaming in hotel rooms! Let's talk about this album for the Patreon supporter who shall remain nameless until he comes forward and makes himself known. You know who you are. Leave a comment on the video, why don't you? Or on SoundCloud. Be like, hey, thanks guys. Something like that. Just let us know, because I really want to be like, hey man, this is for you. Thanks for the support. So yeah, John Cena, You Can't See Me, released, and I want to say 2005?
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago.
Wasn't it when he was still doing the basic thugonomics gimmick?
See, what I wanted to look up is that this was a time period when I wasn't watching wrestling anymore. I stopped watching in like 2001, and I didn't start watching again until like 2009.
Okay.
So the whole ruthless aggression thing, I missed all of that. So
Gotcha.
by the time I got there, Cena was already, throwing his hat in the crowd and, being a cornball.
So
I missed the whole basic thugonomics,
So you
word
missed
life.
basic thugonomics, gotcha.
I missed all of that.
Alright, so
But,
let me give you a quick Cliff Notes version.
okay.
The quick Cliff Notes version is that a lot of people actually prefer his basic thugonomics to, well, actually, it's more of because he used to say, I have a doctorate in thugonomics. And I'm like, dude, you're a white boy from Boston. Shut the hell up.
Hey, man,
Wes
the Irish
Newbury.
dudes get down.
But, yeah, after Ruthless Aggression, he had a feud with The Undertaker. He had a feud with Jericho.
Shouldn't you have a feud with, like, all wrestlers? Like, I'm new to this.
Yeah! I know what you mean, but yeah,
Like,
I know what you mean.
You have to fight all of them eventually. Like, how they're gonna be, like, unless they're not in the same division or whatever. It's like, well, of course you don't like them. Like,
Well, see,
if you don't like them now, you're eventually going to have to not like them.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't understand, though, man, the
and then
difference
at some
between
point,
heels and
after
faces.
the 2004 Royal Rumble, Cena won the United States Championship from Big Show at WrestleMania 20. And then
Okay.
at some point after that, he lost to Carlito when he was Carlito Caribbean Cool. For those of you who don't know who Carlito is, he's exactly what he sounds like.
I mean, is there any point in wrestling where someone's like, how do you feel about wrestling, against this guy? They're just like,
Okay, and then after he lost to Carlito, they began a feud, which resulted in Cena allegedly being stabbed in his kidney.
Whoa.
By Carlito's bodyguard Jesus, and
Jesus,
this was a work so that he could go film the first Marine movie.
Ah.
So that's basically when Marine happened, basically was when they started to push him as the face of the company.
What I read was that, he showed up in basic attire, just John Cena, no gimmick. At a Halloween episode of either SmackDown or Raw, he dressed up as Vanilla Ice and he spit a freestyle. Next week, he just shows up as this rapper gimmick. Why they thought an album needed to come from this gimmick? They never put this much effort into a gimmick before.
And
you know what I'm saying?
True.
Like,
that's not true.
a whole album.
That's not true, because I could probably name like one person who has so much fucking effort in their gimmick.
No, I mean to the point where they they go beyond the t-shirts and the merchandise and stuff like that,
Well,
but to the point where
the
they make
Undertaker
something
did
outside that.
appear on other shows as the Undertaker.
Wait,
like
what about...
he never broke kayfabe throughout the
That's
entire
true.
90s.
But what about the Hulk?
Hulk Hogan, we don't talk about him. He's been erased from WWE's memory.
Yeah, but didn't he make some albums like I'm the...
We are not talking about his albums, and we are not talking about his movies.
But-
God, they are awful.
But what I mean is, like, it's not like this came out of nowhere. Like, they have made the World Wrestling Federation... I don't know who the hell... Like I said, I didn't know dick all about the whole thing. I had no idea. So I'm listening to this just thinking, like, okay, maybe he was, like, a rapper for a really long time, and,
No.
it just happened to... No, it really is just like, all right, I'll start rapping now.
Well, what originally happened was when he first got this gimmick, John Cena would, especially during his feud with The Undertaker, he would come out and he would rap promos at these people. So he'd come out and he'd be like, he'd insult them via rap, and
That sounds pretty cool. It's like a Muhammad Ali sort of
yeah,
thing.
it was pretty cool,
Yeah.
and it was actually working for him because a lot of people got behind him. And then he became the face of the company, and he wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin, so
everyone's
And
like
people didn't
hating
want
on him, or
pretty much I am not a lot of fanboys now, especially of WWE, are a lot of people are saying how Roman Reigns is going to be the next John Cena, and I could see why they would say that.
They're already polishing him
To beat
to
John
go
Cena.
down that.
I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the face of the company is basically a reflection of where WWE wants to go from where they've been.
so in the mid
So,
2000s
for
they wanted to be white rappers? Like
No. What I mean by that is, at the very beginning, when wrestling became mainstream, we had Hulk Hogan, the All-American. Then, after Stone Cold Steve Austin won King of the Ring and became Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson became The Rock, that was Attitude Era. Oh my God, let's be totally opposite of our parents. Let's swear, let's do drugs, let's drink beer, let's do all this bullshit.
Were they on there just like shooting up heroin?
No, what happened was whenever
power bomb into this heroin needle.
Whenever Stone Cold Steve Austin would come to the ring, a guy from off screen would throw him 2 beers, he'd clank them together, and he'd break them both, and he'd throw them out of the ring. It was the coolest shit when you're 13. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Then they went with this clean-cut Marine-looking guy because, post 9/11. And now they're doing long-haired, sort of unpolished, but oh my God, he was with 2 popular dudes. Now we're going with that. So, the company, doesn't really know where it wants to go until it's already fucking there.
Okay.
It's very weird. But in terms of this album, I kind of like that they actually started off with his theme song from Now. I just wish that they put the basic Thugonomics theme song on here.
I gotta
they
say,
said they were going to, but it got cut.
Yeah,
from
no,
the
I
album
know.
for some reason.
I would say that as someone who didn't know whether or not he was like an established rapper or anything, I didn't think he was that what's the word? I don't think he was that uncomfortable with that hat. You know what I mean? Like, he fit into the role. As a matter of fact, when I first started listening, I thought the first verse, I thought it was like Jadakiss or someone like that. Like, it was weird. I was like, wait, is this some other guy? and
I'm going to imagine that to an extent Cena liked rap, or else he wouldn't have gone with the gimmick in the first place.
And then he was kind of trying to put on his cousin, I guess. Because there's another guy who's on this album named Trademark. And are they buddies wrestling or something?
I don't think we ever met Trademark.
No, we never met Trademark.
Because the way they kind of do it, I thought they were some sort of tag team or something like that. Because they're kind of they're fucking, Ghostface and Raekwon. They're on every song together. This isn't a John Cena album. It is a John Cena and Trademark album.
Luckily, both their names are on the cover, on the John Cena spinner belt.
Ah, okay.
It does say John Cena and the Trademark.
Okay. Because, yeah, and, they're kind of, I don't want to say interchangeable, but their styles, they complement each other. They're kind of and I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. If Insane Clown Posse didn't rap about any of the shit that they rapped about, and were at least 3 times better lyrically, that is kind of what you'd be expecting from this group.
What I think is so interesting, because I've never listened to this album before this week. And going in, I imagined it would be corny as shit.
Yeah.
That it would have a lot of references to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really have any.
There were some
barely had any
that I could tell. I don't know.
There was one reference to a headlock.
Yeah, and the only other reference really is the fact that his theme song from Now is the first song. So if you're listening to this album, you basically go, "Oh, are we really gonna do a theme song album? Is this the thing that's happened now?" And it goes into the next song, and you're like, "Oh."
Well,
okay.
There were a couple of things that I thought were wrestling references, maybe to things that he does. What was that one? There was one song on it, "Make It Loud." Is that a thing he said?
No.
It sounded like it because it had samples in it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, is this from a match or something? That'd be cool, Or where he kept saying, "What now?" Randomly halfway through the album. Did you notice that? At the end of verses, they just start saying, "What now?"
I know that in The Time Is Now, the only reference in it, and that's his theme song, the only reference to wrestling is the one point where he says, I'm gonna lay your ass down for the 3-second tan.
Yeah,
which I imagine is like a pin. I'm gonna lay you down for a pin. But that's it! Then the second verse rolls in, and it's the trademark, and it's totally different.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The album doesn't feel like it's supposed to be a wrestling album. It doesn't feel like, John Cena from this? Well, here it comes. No, it doesn't fit like that. It actually tries to seem kind of legit. Like, it kind of seems like, like Shaq's album in the 90s. It's like, there were one or two references to, like, playing basketball and stuff, but the main point was like, no, I'm actually a rapper. This isn't a gimmick. You know what I mean? Like, I'm delivering an actual album. Now, I think this is a hell of a lot better than Shaq's album. I'll say that first off. And I thought it was cool how they got, like, the sort of, like, semi-old school MC, the Bumpy Knuckles guy, who kind of worked with Guru and Rakim and stuff. Like, he was, like, a frequent appearer, And so, which was another thing that kind of said, like, okay, so maybe they're going for, like, a real thing here. Because, 2005, it would have been a gimmicky thing to go for, I don't know, like, well, no, Eminem wasn't really bigger than that. Maybe, like, T.I. or, excuse me, I'm trying to remember artists from, like, 2005. Who are some rappers from 2005 who were big? Like, I don't know, Jay-Z, Nelly. Like, just getting anyone who is, like, famous on there. But no, they were like, hey, it's me and my cousin doing this. And here's this one artist that I really respect that I want on these songs.
How surprised were you that it went from his theme song to a song that explicitly says, don't fuck with us?
Okay, I want to just say right now.
I was just like,
now
whoa, okay.
When I originally listened to, I listened to this album, right? And I was like, okay, so I'm thinking, going through this album, I was like, oh my god, the theme song's gonna be the best fucking song, right? And immediately, Don't Fuck With Us comes on, and I'm like, this is the best song of the album. This is totally the best song of the album.
Dude, a lot of these beats are like fucking fire.
If his 10-year-old little fans knew about this album.
Dude, this shit goes hard a lot of the time, though. The fucking dude, that shit was hype. Like, I could see that beat. It's funny. I did not think that this was like 10 years old, because that shit sounds like it could be played right now. Although, interestingly enough, there are a couple of tracks on here that are a little wonky. Like, it kind of feel like, okay, this sounds like it's from, like, trying to be the 90s in the 2000s. You know?
It did have a really interesting old school feel to it at times.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't listening to rap in 2005, so I really can't, from memory.
I'm pretty sure it didn't sound like this.
What'd you say?
I'm pretty sure it didn't sound like this.
Okay. So, here's a question, and I'm not jumping to the conclusion, but and I've even seen this in comments, so I wanted to know if you thought the same here. Is it just because that this album is infinitely better than the radio rap we're dealing with today, or is it a decent album? Like,
Okay.
is it just our perspective of it that, like, compared to what we've been listening to, or if that wasn't even the case,
like,
if you just put this on, would it be enjoyable?
As somebody who listens to rap a lot when I go to, like, out places in the car, I gotta say, a lot of rap today doesn't really, like, float my boat, I guess, would be the correct euphemism, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's not as, it's not what I'm used to. Like, I don't hate it, but I'm used to 1999 to, like, 2003 when, like, right after Tupac and Biggie, but right before the whole Jay-Z phenomenon. So, like, that weird interperiod of Dre and Eminem, that was, like, what I grew up on. But listening to this album comparatively to what we listen to in the car, I honestly think that this album is actually better in a lot of ways, because it feels more original.
Oddly enough, it doesn't feel gimmicky.
Yeah, it doesn't feel gimmicky. That's what I like about it.
For a wrestler doing a rap album, it does not feel that gimmicky.
Despite the fact that when he first started, that was his gimmick.
Yeah.
Which is very fucking weird.
And so, like, yeah, it's just, it kind of subverts expectations. But it's actually very witty.
It's an interesting paradox is what it is.
Yeah, it's very witty. There are a lot of funny lines where it's like, oh, okay, like, I wasn't expecting this say this shit. There was that Summer Fling song, which I kind of thought was whack. We're just like, I'm fucking these bitches, you know. But for the most part,
most of the songs on the album were pretty good.
yeah,
like,
they're pretty hard. I mean, it's fucking flexing and like being hard as fuck, but it works the angle.
Although I will say that, what is it? Chain Gang is the
Chain Gang is the click.
Yeah. Okay. So in that song, they say Basic Thugonomics, and I was like, wait a minute, is this the Basic Thugonomics theme song? And then I was like, no, it's not. I'm so mad now.
and then there was the Right Now song, which Jess didn't like, but I thought it was alright. I mean, I didn't think it was great, but it was like, hey.
Which one was that one?
That was the one with the Kanye type sample on it.
Oh, I freaking hate Kanye West. just throwing that out there.
Well, you don't like the
Kanye, sue me for all $2 I have, please.
No, he has the sped up beat, and I like that.
I don't like that at all.
So when I heard it, I was like, all right, this is kind of cool, but
was that the song with the Big L samples?
Huh?
Was that the track that had the Big L samples?
No, it was the one where it was like sped up and it was like faster. It sounded like a choir singing or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, all right, this is cool. I don't dig it that much, and it was interesting because it was one where they weren't bragging about being like hard and shit, and it was like, actually, you can go back to the bragging about being hard thing because that's kind of your forte.
The track "Keep Frontin'" had Big L samples in it, which I thought was really weird.
I thought that was cool, especially
it was just like, okay,
since he died like 5 years before that, you know, it's like, hey, here's an homage to this guy.
Here's a question: who the fuck is Bumpy Knuckles?
He's the Bumpy Knuckles, aka Freddie Fox. He's the guy who's like the old school MC that they kept getting. And I would. Okay,
but here's how did they get him? Like, that's my question.
And why did they get him so frequently? Like, he's on like 5 of these songs. And you know what I think the problem was though? I think for the most part their wordplay is fine, stuff like that. Every now and then they get a little of the I don't want to say they sound white, but there's like times where they sound a little like stilted, and it's like there's 1 or 2 times where that happens. Like it's not like Macklemore sounding white, like, cause he can flow, he has rhymes, so he doesn't have that sort of, I don't want to say sound white, but it's like that sort of like their flow gets into the little I'm a white guy and I'm rapping on my, like, it happens every so subtly, and every now and then they have corny like punchlines that don't work, like where he says I've had hookers to, like, just lines that are like, I've had hookers to virgins on their back, wild sex all the way to dead lays, like necrophiliacs. It's like, wait, what? Are you bragging about
fucking dead people?
Like, you're bragging about, like, I've had great sex and I've had horrible sex. Like, that's not a...
Okay, like, with that line, I basically was thinking to myself, hasn't everybody had great sex and horrible sex? Like, isn't that a thing that occurs?
Like, why are you even saying that?
I mean, I'm
this
sure
isn't a bragging point.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us can associate with that.
And you know what I think is the problem, though? I think because I'm assuming his cousin is also white. They're white rappers, and he's a wrestler. And I think what happened was, because I was set up to believe that this was going to be a horrible album. And I think what happened is people, what they do sometimes is, it doesn't matter how many good punchlines they hear one and, oh, whack song, it's fucking horrible. This is the worst song I've ever fucking heard. You know what I mean? Like, people like to exaggerate. Like, Nicki Minaj especially, like, it'll be like, they'll hear a line that doesn't work, and all of a sudden, like, the whole song will just be dismissed as whack. And I don't like to do that. Like, I like to acknowledge that something's funny, but I like to, go like, but overall, the song was cool, And I feel like a lot of what happened was, here's a white guy, he's a wrestler, so it's a gimmick. His flow sometimes isn't, like, as concrete and on the time, so it's like, he's just a white guy doing his thing. And every now and then the punchlines will fail, and so people just wrote this album off completely, and it's like, just a white guy fronting.
I feel like that if his theme song was not The Time Is Now, if he was in the Attitude Era, I really feel like Don't Fuck With Us would be his theme song. Because
that was like the second one up.
Yeah, because not only is it like a really good song, it's actually probably the best song on the album in my opinion.
I would say either Don't Fuck With Us or Bad Bad Man.
Yeah. And
I'm a bad man. Like, I could see that being a theme. I'm kind of surprised it never was.
yeah. And what's really interesting is a lot of people give John Cena flack about a lot of stuff. They're like, oh, he's a movie star. Oh, you know, he has a rap album. Oh, he does
really
this.
A movie star? Like, what movies do you know him from?
12 Rounds, The Marine. He's currently filming another movie right now, and he's been in like 6 or 7 movies.
I'm just saying, like, The Rock, when he became a star, I knew who he was. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing: the difference
really
between
know
John Cena and The Rock is The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
They were household names, even if you didn't know what wrestling was.
Yeah, exactly.
John
Cena,
Cena's
he's not really on that level.
He's
yeah,
not. He's not on that level at all. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like you could say, oh, you know, I remember the days of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I can say that to a random dude on the street, and they'll be like, oh my God, 316, fuck yeah, you know.
Man,
But like John Cena, like unless you know anything about wrestling and how wrestling works,
yeah,
you really don't. And even if you watch NXT, like you didn't even know who John Cena really was.
I didn't know who the Undertaker was. Like,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
But like Undertaker's not doing movies. Like, but this guy is like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just a time thing, but maybe I just happened to watch The Mummy 2, and that's where I first found out about The Rock. But like, I know him from lots of other things. I feel like John Cena isn't really on that level.
No, John Cena is certainly on that level.
He makes mostly films for WWE films.
Yeah, that's
what
what
The
those
Marine,
movies
The
kind
Marine
of seem
2.
like. The movies that The Rock did. Well, he did that one movie. Was it Walking? I don't remember. But like the movies that he does don't all seem like here is just a movie about kicking it. And it's like even then, like a lot of I see previews for like, you know, ads for, oh, here's this WCW wrestler doing something else, and they just come off like generic early 90s action movie. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like The Rock was a bit more, I guess, litigious when it came to his choosing of roles, and they just seem a lot more varied. Unfortunately, we also got shit like, you know, the Tooth Fairy and shit. But, you know,
Game Plan.
I felt like, what?
The Game Plan.
Yeah, but I felt like I just saw more of him as a, I don't know, as a person. Like you see him in Fast and the Furious, saw him in The Mummy. So like I just saw him do different things. He was more varied, and that's why I really like him. Like I feel like I like him as a person, just because he's like all these angles that you're seeing this person from. You know what I mean?
The thing that Cena does in every movie that isn't an action movie is, hey, look, it's John Cena, basically, because like, and I'm not even saying, I'm not even saying like the Fred movies where he was just, you know, he basically just showed up in his wrestling attire, but even in the,
but he was actually a character. He was the imaginary dad.
Right. But I'm saying, like, in that new, I forget the name of it. It's that Amy Schumer movie. Trainwreck. He was in that, but he's basically just playing John Cena. Like, I don't think he is John Cena in the movie, but he's not playing a character that is too much unlike the character you see on TV.
Like, it'd be like if Hulk Hogan in every movie was like, let me tell you this, brother.
Yeah, he'd always rip his shirt, no matter what the movie. He just walks in and tears his shirt off and says something racist.
Well, see, here's the thing. He was actually, okay, so not a lot of people know this unless they, like, you know, have anything to, like, actually know a lot about wrestling. But John Cena was actually in Ready to Rumble.
Ready to Rumble, yeah.
He was a gym trainer in Ready to Rumble when they go to meet Goldberg.
Right.
So, you know, he's been in movies for a pretty long time. But
that was back in his pre-prototype days. Yeah,
before he became who he is today. And here's the other thing about him. He's through and through a company man. He's just like The Undertaker was when The Undertaker was young. Now, here's the same a lot of people are like, "Oh, you know, The Undertaker is, you know, has creative control, all this other stuff." That's all behind the scenes stuff, but there's not really a difference between the two of them in that they are both company men. They both do as they're told, and they both, at the end of the day, do not, you know, reveal company secrets. They keep the kayfabe line like hard and strong. They don't break kayfabe unless like absolutely directed to. So.
Yeah, So,
the fact that this album even exists is technically for Cena breaking kayfabe because
he's not being like the
He's
over.
because his gimmick right now is literally he's Superman. That's literally his gimmick in the WWE. Anything that happens to him, he can eventually overcome. There was like that giant feud with Big Show and Mark Henry where they put him in a triple threat a handicap match with Big Show, Mark Henry, the two biggest dudes in the entire roster. They broke the ring, and yet somehow Cena still was able to lift the Big Show and Mark Henry and fucking beat them. And that pissed a lot of people off because they're like, well, how is that even possible? Well, I'll tell you how that's possible. Because John Cena was able to heal from a neck injury that they told him would take a year and a half in 8 months. That's just a freak of genetics right there. So the fact that this album exists kind of proves that he's just a freak of genetics. He's good at rapping too, apparently.
I want to talk about, like, there's a couple topics on here. If it all ended tomorrow, the last song.
Oh yeah.
Were you expecting that? Like, he just starts talking about, like,
because the song before that is like so like
yeah, chain gang is the click. We gonna beat the shit out of here. And then the next song is like, so this guy randomly picked me up, put a gun to my head, and said he was gonna kill me because I was cheating on him with because I was cheating. His wife was cheating on him with me or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of funny because especially to put this at the very end, because like the first. Like, pretty much most of the album is also him saying, like, yeah, I'm strong as fuck, but I'll also fuck your chick. And then for it to end on some guy just randomly coming out of nowhere, because it turns out, like, it wasn't him. He just picked someone randomly, and it just happened to be him. And he was like, I'm going to kill you for having sex with my wife. And he was like, what the fuck? He's like, oh shit, did I have, like, did I fuck myself over? And then it turns out, like, the guy was just, going through some shit, and he was trying to, like, he just wanted to take it out on someone, and then the song ends with him going, like, all right, I'm gonna live life right now, it's like, I'm gonna do the, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go for what I want and do it because, who knows that guy could have pulled that trigger, you know what I mean?
Which sort of ties the album together pretty nicely, actually.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, I don't think that this album, like, has an overall arcing theme, but I think that the fact that it was brought together so nicely in a nice little neat bow kind of is very interesting. It's like he actually knows what he's doing with lyrics.
Yeah. I do feel like, once again, with every song that's more than 10 tracks, I feel like this is, like, always what I'm gonna say, but until I start seeing it happen, just shave this shit down. You don't need.
There's no reason this needed to be 17 tracks.
Yeah.
There's way too many.
Of like right now, Summer Flings.
Yeah, the sex songs could have gone. Like we get it.
Well,
like
no,
you're not that sexy.
I would have kept like one sex song to make the ending make sense.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love the we didn't want you to know though. It's like if you don't know, we didn't want you to know.
Yeah. See. Here's the thing. Hulk Rules, the album, 10 tracks, 39 minutes. Looking at a possible future album we could be talking about. I can't find it. Hold on. Huh?
For another time.
Yeah, I'm sure that album is probably around the same time. This one, however, 17 tracks, and it's over an hour. This is why, earlier, when I said that I've never seen this much effort put into a gimmick, they did not need to make 17 songs. But they did.
Yeah,
For who?
And, like,
who wanted this album?
He got his cousin on it, like it was like a legit, like, tag team sort of rap thing.
John Cena's gimmick is that he's a rapper. They could have released a single with 3 songs tops. But they released a full-length album that's over an hour long and almost 20 tracks. That is way more dedication than the situation demanded or required.
This was 2005, like when this album came out. Listening to it now, since I like about 10 tracks on the album, if it was a 17 song album, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have bought it, like, because there are like actually like some pretty good songs on here, but for the most part, like, I feel like, yeah, there was a lot of effort put into this gimmick, but at the same time, some of it really worked. Like, not a lot of, like, it wasn't like perfect. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a perfect album at all.
Yeah, there was that Just Another Day song where I wasn't sure if they were trying to make us feel sympathy for them being poor or feel sympathy because they're rich.
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, what's happening?
But, like, at the same time, there were, like, enough tracks on the album where I was like, okay, like, if John Cena had a career-ending injury tomorrow, he might be able to, if he couldn't heal from it in 8 months, he could possibly do it, he could possibly make, like, a rap career. Kind of how similar to, like, how Edge retired because he had to, and now he makes TV shows for some reason.
I'm sorry. I knew you guys. I know you guys were expecting us to hate on it because white guy rapping. First of all, you just automatically got 2 strikes against you. And on top of that, he's a wrestler, so you know it's good. But it's like, he's really like, it's not that bad. It's actually pretty interesting. I suggest you guys check it out. There's gonna be some songs. There's some good workout songs. You know what I mean? And you'll find yourself laughing with him more than at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what people expected, It's like, oh, this is going to be a joke. Let's sit back. But it's like, when he's actually, like, doing it seriously, it's like, okay. I'm actually surprised he didn't do more of this shit. If Shaq did 4 fucking albums, why can't we get another one from him?
I don't
because he's
remember...
making movies all the damn time.
I don't remember exactly how long the rapper gimmick lasted. I think it only lasted, like, between 2004 and 2006. So he probably didn't have time to do a second one.
You want to know why he probably didn't make another album? Because by this time it was, like, 2005. And, they were thinking, like, oh, man, we're going to put all this effort into this. We're going to be able to make all these singles, do all these things, and get all this money. And they realized, like, just how little money they were getting from the music industry by, like, 2005. Fuck this.
Well, there was that one point in the last 5 years where John Cena actually had a rap battle with somebody and actually called back to the Doctor of Thugonomics. I just don't remember who it was against.
It was The Rock.
It was The Rock, right? Yeah.
The Rock was rapping too?
No, he made like a little Kumbaya guitar song for John Cena. So John Cena was like, all right, I gotta go like dig underneath and find like my old self. And he did like a Doctor of Thugonomics verse against The Rock. And it was pretty, I didn't hate that at all. Like, I think
I definitely did not despise that with all my being.
Like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love The Rock, but I think like the storyline they did between John Cena and The Rock was really petty in a lot of ways.
I think it was okay once. I don't know why we needed it twice, but
yeah. Although I do
once
realize that they were trying to like be like, oh, The Rock is passing the torch to John Cena, and I'm like, well, that's great, but The Rock hasn't been in the company for, like, almost 10 years now.
Yeah, he's already passed the torch. Like, it's already been passed. Who are you kidding? At this point, Cena's already been champion, like, 8 times, so...
More than that. Like, I think more like 12.
Yeah, okay. By that point, yeah.
Wait, okay. If it's basically a weekly show, or fucking daily show, apparently.
No, it's a
Pretty
weekly.
much.
Okay.
Raw is weekly, SmackDown is weekly, NXT is weekly.
It's weekly, so
pay-per-views are once a month.
And every week they're being challenged for the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's almost like, oh, he had the title like 8 times. Like, shouldn't that be an actual like kind of inconsequential amount if you're doing this every week? Like, I thought it was like a special, like every month or something like that they do it. So it's like, when he gets it, it's a big deal.
It used to be that way. It used to be that when you got the title, you usually hold out onto it for about 6 to 8 months, or 6 months to a year, or sometimes even longer than that. Like when CM Punk was champion, he held it for held it longer than a year. And like title reigns used to be a huge deal. Like if you were a champion, you were like the top of the company. You were revered as a locker room leader because you actually knew what the fuck you were doing. They handed you a championship belt because you knew what you were doing. They didn't, or if you got a Royal Rumble win or you won Money in the Bank, that was basically your guarantee that you were next in line for the championship, and that was the end of it. But now the way they're doing the title reigns, it's just kind of like
every week you can be beat.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty
they're
much.
not making title reigns kind of jokes right now. It's really disheartening because when I used to watch wrestling when I was little, I remember when the Steve Austin, fucking The Rock, Steve Austin, all those guys were champions for 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half.
Would people challenge them during that time? Or?
Yeah, but they would retain because they were the face of the company. They would get challenged every so often, but it wouldn't be he loses the belt and then he gets it back right away, like the next pay-per-view like it is now. It was they would go 3 or 4 pay-per-views with the belt before they even got a inkling of a challenge.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of champions at the time were now it's more some of the champions will sit on commentary while they're watching their the number one contendership happen. But now it seems more I feel like the only wrestling promotion that knows what the hell it's doing is NXT. Because those champions hold it for a very long time.
From what I remember, going back to Bruno Sammartino, if we can bring up Bruno Sammartino.
We can't. He's in the Hall of Fame now, so it's okay.
He held the title from 1963 to 1971, a total of 2,803 days. That was back in the day when there was no television show. It was just traveling around the country. Back when I was watching wrestling when I was a kid, a title change would be a big fuck deal because by the time I was watching wrestling, there were about 5 pay-per-views a year. After a while, it was, there's 12 pay-per-views a year. And yeah, the title would be on the line every month at those things. But you also got to remember that they're working close to 350 to 360 days a year doing house shows. And in most cases, the title is on the line at these house shows. Now, granted, they wouldn't have a title change hands at an untelevised house show.
Yeah.
The title's still on the line.
They did do it twice.
They did have Diesel beat Bob Backlund in 8 seconds, but when else did that happen?
Well, they did it twice. They did it recently at a house show, but that was because the champion had become injured, and that they had to write him out.
Right.
That's the only other time it's actually happened at a house show. But usually it happens on live television, either via pay-per-view or via Monday Night Raw.
I love how this is a wrestling podcast now.
I'm trying to bring it back, but we've already talked about this for over an hour.
So, final rating.
Yes.
How do we do this? Out of
5.
Out of 5.
3.7. 5. 3.75.
Oh, he said 3.7. Fucking 5.
Close enough. Rounding it up.
No, I think that this album is pretty strong, considering that it's only John Cena's only album, and there are a lot of good tracks on there. I mean, some of it's fucking stupid, but a lot of it's got some good merit, and a lot of it is, a lot of it's pretty fun, and the fact that if it all ended tomorrow ties it all a little bit together in a nice, neat little package. I don't think it's a full 4 out of 5, but I think it's close enough where it's not average, but it's a little bit above average to what I've listened to.
Yeah, I'd say 3.5. Something like that. I would definitely check it out. If you're a John Cena fan, definitely check it out. If you're just a passing person who's I want to listen to a good album, you should definitely give it a chance. If you're just trying to hear some badass music, definitely throw this on. That Time Is Now is fucking great. I'm sorry. That shit is hype.
You know that was the focus of
every week for 4 years.
But I would say check it out. Give it a listen. 3.5 stars. Yeah. What about you?
I would go ahead and agree. Either somewhere between 3.5 and 3.75. I was just gonna say, were you aware that The Time Is Now was actually the focus of a court case that settled out of court between John Cena and MOP?
What? Why?
What?
Because of the Abudu was from Annie Up.
Oh yeah, I was wondering where that was from.
So they sued and they settled out of court, or it didn't go to court, one of the two, because I don't think that they had the rights to that sample in the first place.
Yeah, how the hell is the rapper gonna be like, I'm suing you using my thing? Like, for real? Really? Are you gonna be that guy?
Yeah, like it's not a lyric, it's not a riff, it's just a 2-second thing that gets played maybe 3-4 times throughout the entire song. You can't fucking sue over that, I'm sorry. You can't sue over a noise, basically.
Apparently, it's not even from their song, it's just they used it and so people know it from that song.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Now, granted, they probably could have asked, but they were the WWE and they probably thought, we don't fucking have to ask.
There's something random I saw about, like, Donald Trump comments on Hillary Clinton's bathroom break. I just saw that on my feed, and I was just like, what the, like, who gives a fuck? Fucking Hillary Clinton going to the bathroom just shows how weak of a leader she'll be. Like, what? How is this even a thing?
All he said was, it's not even news. It's not even fucking news. He was, I guess someone asked him about it, like, about her taking a bathroom break.
Who the hell's asking? What do you think about so-and-so going to the bathroom?
And all he said was, like, no, I'm not even gonna talk about that. It's disgusting. I'm not even gonna talk about it. It's just disgusting.
Women going to the bathroom, am I right?
Yeah, so, not news. There's tons of shit you could be trashing Donald Trump for. That one is a little weak.
let that one slide. Can we let that one slide?
Yeah, I mean, especially when we're fucking painting him up like the worst the GOP has to offer, when the rest of them are equally scumbagish. He just happens to be the one with the loudest mouth. I mean, can I fucking... I'm not about to go in a whole goddamn thing
no,
here,
do. Please do.
When you
Isn't
fucking
it
have
called
6
going on
of the
5
other members of the GOP, not including Donald Trump, saying that they would fucking pass a bill or whatever that would make discrimination against LGBT legal, like, fuck you. Fuck you for that.
Like, allowed, considering that that's pretty much left up to states' rights. Like,
I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now, that discriminating, using your religion as a way to justify discrimination in any way is not okay. And you're an asshole if you think so. That goes for Christians, that goes for Muslims, that goes for every religion. If you use your religion as a way to think, well, it's okay to hate this group because it goes against my religion, you're a fucking asshole.
I'll put it
because
to you like
the way
this.
I look at it, you're judging a group of people for something they did not choose because of your religion that you chose. You don't necessarily have to be... If that just happens to come with the territory of your religion, that you just happen to be a bigoted asshole, come out and admit that. But I see Marco Rubio over here saying, I've been called a bigot. Well, yeah. Saying that saying that it's okay to discriminate against a group of people for being who they are, yeah, that makes you a bigot. It doesn't matter that it's because their lifestyle goes against your religion. That doesn't matter. Just admit you're a fucking bigot.
yeah, you're right.
You're not a fucking victim here.
Malcolm X said the worst type of racist is the racist that tries to act like he's not a racist.
Yeah.
Just
come
be
on,
out with
dude.
it, so I know who the asshole is. Don't try to act like you're a good person. Just be an asshole. Don't try to act like woe is me. Just be a dick, so we can just know. What was it? But I'll put it to you like this: if there was a Muslim dude saying, well, I am governor of the state of Missouri or whatever, I'm gonna say that women shouldn't be allowed to drive in the state. Because I'm sorry, I'm a deeply religious person, and I just believe that no, that shit would not fly for a fucking second. For a fucking second. And yet, because the more prominent religion in America is Christianity, the ideologies that that people associate with it, that shit is allowed to have any leeway whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And I say this as a Christian. Like, I don't think my ideologies should be the name of it, even if a lot of the people in this country are Christian, because this place is supposed to be not catering specifically towards anyone's religion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if tomorrow everyone in this country was a Catholic. I still don't think that we should, put ourselves in the boundaries of it. Because then when that one person who's not a Catholic comes into the country, we say, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do what you wanted to do because, since, 99% of us are Catholics, so sorry, you can't do it. No, this isn't supposed to be that fucking country. You know what I'm saying?
A country that was founded on the freedom of religion can't call itself a Christian nation when it isn't.
You just can't.
It wasn't founded on that principle. It was founded on the principle of no one religion is gonna fucking get carte blanche over another. But see, that's just how it turned out.
But see, you know what it is? It's that entitled shit, the sort of like, we're not supposed to respect any religion, da-da-da. But, I mean, not mine, right? Like, that's what we actually mean, right? Like, I don't have to think about mine, right? Like, mine's gonna be accepted. That's cool, right?
Like, I saw on Facebook that Donald Trump came out and said that he thinks that it would be that it should be okay for children to pray in class if they want to. And as an atheist, I don't have a problem if people want to pray in school. But I know for a fact that that hypocritical motherfucker only means Christian prayer.
Exactly.
He would not be okay with any other kind of prayer. He's only talking about the one kind.
Hey, can I say something?
Yeah, if everyone can pray, that's cool. But not if you're just going to discriminate anyway. Then no, that's not cool.
Hey, can I go out on a limb and say something? Can I just say that Donald Trump is probably not the most religious person? Like,
no,
I highly doubt he is. He's a fucking businessman. I'm sorry, I hate to make assumptions, but the type of person that he is not someone that goes to church every week. I guarantee you he does fucking not. He is a businessman, and it's all about using Christianity for the bottom line. Because it's not like he fucking leads every rally in prayer or some shit. No, all he does, he exploits things, and he goes, Christians really like it if I say Merry Christmas over Happy Holidays. Yeah, Merry Christmas. I'm going to say Merry Christmas to you. You don't give a shit.
Donald Trump only says what people want to hear. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, the other thing is, here's the other thing about him, is that at the last debate, a lot of people were, like, talking about how he didn't, like, put his hand to his heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, that was, like, a big thing, apparently.
Oh, he didn't?
No, apparently not. And I was like, okay.
But, so, like, does he not know?
Well, I mean, I fucking wouldn't. And, I mean, if he really doesn't believe and he didn't do it, then I respect him for that. But, yeah, I think he just kind of fucked up. I don't think he meant to do that.
But what I mean is, it's not like he's some sort of fucking devout, like, it's not like it's like Preacher Jonathan is running for, because here's the thing, I bet you 100%, or, well, at least 70% of the people that are behind him are because he is backing the ideologies from the for some reason, stereotypically assumed Christian nation that America is. Like, those are the people who are like, when they say, I want my country back and bring it back to the way things used to be, it's like, yeah, when you didn't have to think about other people's problems. That's exactly what that means. Why can't we go back to when I didn't have to think about black people's problems? Why can't we go back to when I didn't have to think about LGBT, queer folk and all these people's problems? Why can't we go back to that? You know what I mean?
Right now, and I hate to generalize, but the way I see it, the GOP really only has the best interest in mind of well-to-do, straight, white men. And if you're out of that, they don't fucking care about you. And if they ever say that they do, they're only saying that because they want your vote, and they're just gonna fuck you over.
And here's the thing. Here's what I really hate. I do know some guys that are like, hey, I'm a Republican, and I think this way. But it's like, even they go like, I'm not on board with the way the Republicans are acting right now because they're going to this fringe element that has turned out to be not as fringe as people thought it was. You know? It's like this idea that it's like, I want to be because, like, it's not like it was always like this. there was a time I remember people telling me, like, older folks telling me, it's like, oh yeah, Republicans and Democrats would disagree on shit, and then like, have dinner at each other's houses. Like,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, well, we're fighting politics. I mean, we're fighting ideas, but basically we're all trying to come to the same conclusion. It's just we have different ways of going about it. This shit is getting out of control where it's like, you have to be on this side or that side. And it's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you watch the debates, I watched the Democratic debate on Saturday. I can't bring myself to watch a Republican debate. I'm sorry.
I can't either. Don't worry about it.
Just from the Cliff Notes, the Republican debate was immigration and national security. Basically, not too much else.
What's funny about that is that these are all the things that don't really directly affect us. Like,
not really.
Like,
but the Democratic debate was mostly about the economy, taxes, briefly about national security, but not too much, and gun control, which doesn't get brought up at the Republican debates because they don't see it as a problem in the first place.
Yeah. But
at least they don't want to fucking acknowledge it.
I just hate the idea that the thing they focus on is, because it kind of tells you what the ideology is really coming from, that is they're the problem. We need to focus on making sure our national security is safe and make sure other people, we're making sure that they can't get in. Because, the problem with a lot of countries is at the heart, at what's going on inside of its own countries. It's not other people bringing the fight to us, which honestly doesn't even really happen that often. How many times has there been an attack on America courtesy of some other country?
There was Pearl Harbor.
9/11.
9/11. And that's really it.
And then when the Canadians burned the White House to the ground.
Yeah, and then that time when we bombed ourselves in Tulsa, Oklahoma. When a bunch of indignant white dudes got mad that, like, they think a black guy whistled at a white woman and all this shit unraveled. And then motherfuckers ended up putting in, like, fucking airstrikes on this black community. Look that shit up.
White people have fucked over America more than anyone else, honestly.
But see, what has happened is that it's that idea of privilege, and that's why we need to talk about that more, because what fucks you up is that when you're so used to having something your way, when it doesn't, you assume that it must be because there's this big problem, and not just because, there's other problems going on.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, there you go.
What?
Apparently, the KKK is actually using Trump's hateful rhetoric as a recruitment tool.
And it's like, this shit ain't a coincidence. But here's the thing. They don't want to think, like, these people who are mostly, like, white people, and it's not to say all of them, but it is a very vocal part of it, because a lot of them kind of live in that little, bit of a bubble. It's like, you don't have to think about other people's problems in this. And so, like, for instance, when people say, oh, you only voted for Obama because he was black. Like, a big thing. But does it ever even cross their minds that 90-something% of the people in the Senate and in the House are white? And does it ever cross their mind that they voted for the person they voted for because they were white? Yeah. They never have to think about that. Because it's this assumed meritocracy. Oh, they got their way because they did their best, right? It's like, that's not true. What if there were plenty of other good, black, Hispanic senators that just didn't get to where they could have gone because, we're not really going to send him as the front runner. You know what I'm saying? It's like no one has ever had to think about, did you vote for John McCain because he was white? That was never a question. It was
I was just going to say, in the case between him and Obama, yeah, totally. With fucking Mitt Romney, I'm pretty sure a lot of people voted for Mitt Romney because he was white. Because they were sick and tired of having a black president. Not to say that everyone was, because the policies were different. Maybe they didn't want, the big, scary, looming threat of socialism. Give it a fucking chance. Already, for fuck's sake. I'm so sick of that bullshit. Everyone's so scared of the big fuck S word. Shut up.
I don't even remember this being a thing. Like, I remember communism. I remember we were afraid of communism. When did socialism become scary?
Socialism became scary because Obama brought it up. and now everyone immediately thinks that. Well, he didn't even bring it up, but people saw some of his ideology leaning more towards socialism, much like Bernie Sanders' ideology is leaning way towards socialism, and everyone's so afraid of that.
He's a self-described socialist.
But,
he said he's a socialist on numerous occasions.
But our country is based, in a way, on socialism. We didn't pave the roads that we did because it went to the highest bidder who was going to do it. No, it was just because, well, somebody's got to do this shit. So we're going to make it so that the money that we get goes towards doing this. You know, it wasn't because, capitalism and whoever's the best man is going to do it. No, because then it would be like, well, as soon as there's no money in it, oh, no, we're not going to pave the roads anymore. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Didn't think we'd get political on this episode, did you? You fucking saw that John Cena spinner belt and you thought it would all be laughs.
Well, because my thing
Not the case.
I hate the idea that people think that I guess it is political, but I hate the idea that people think that it's like, you know, when you go against one thing, it must mean because you're being political for this other purpose. And it's like, no, I think some things are just kind of common sense. What's that ideology called? It's like the middle ground, the middle ground paradox, I think. Not paradox, but fallacy or whatever. And it's like, well, if you're against this thing, well, the truth can't be on one side or the other. It has to be somewhere in the middle, you know?
Oh.
But the problem with that is, if someone says, like, I believe that we should drink arsenic all the time, and someone says, no, I don't think we should drink arsenic, well, the truth has to be somewhere in the middle. We got to be able to drink some arsenic. And it's like,
yeah.
No. You know what I mean? Like, there are some things that are just wrong. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that a Republican should not be president at any venture or whatever, but from the motherfuckers we've got, that's pathetic.
Bernie Sanders, all the way.
The fact that Trump is the leading candidate. It's not that he's like, oh man, he's you know, the 13% or whatever, and he's really trying to get it, but he's just never got the leading candidate. If that's not sending red flags all around, come on, guys.
I seriously believe, though, because America is a very superficial country, and in this case, I think it might actually work in our favor, because America tries to make itself seem, even though in many ways it isn't, as a progressive nation, that we're moving forward, that we're bringing the world into the 21st century and all that. So I don't believe that America would want itself represented by someone with regressive ideology. But it, you know, if it comes down to the votes, I really do think that it might come down to someone gets screwed out of the election. If it comes down to it, that it will sway in the Democrats' favor, only because we set such a precedent with Obama, and we're putting such a foot forward, and we have such a reputation right now that we can't undo what we've already done in the past 8 years with someone who's just going to resentfully undo, or at least try to undo, most of the progress we've made over the last 2 terms. I really do believe that even if it comes down to fucking fake-ass Hillary, I would honestly take her over anyone.
But
any fucking one.
I just want to say this.
In the GOP.
I just want to say this. Don't you think it's hilarious how the big guys that we've got going up against each other are like on the Republican side, literally a businessman who doesn't know dick all about politics.
Right.
And B, literally the opposite of a businessman who's not working with any businesses whatsoever, and has been in politics for decades. Like, the dichotomy that is happening right now is just perfection. You know?
You have the definition of a socialist and the definition of a capitalist.
Like, has it ever really been like this before? Like,
not to this extent.
This, what do you call it? This, opposing?
I don't think so.
Not really, no.
Like, sure, yeah, all right, a black younger guy running against a white older guy. Excuse me. But that's aesthetics. This is like ideologies going fucking head to head.
Mm-hmm. I'm afraid to see what happens, honestly, because the way I see it right now, best case scenario for me, anyway, would be if it came down to Sanders and Trump. I think that would be the best case scenario, because no fucking way would Trump win, because I honestly don't think the country would let it. Worst case scenario, it would come down to Hillary
Versus
and
Bush
anyone else that isn't Trump.
or Ted Cruz.
If it came down to Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio against Hillary, Hillary would not stand a fucking chance, I don't think.
Did you hear about the idea that Trump is only doing this, like he's a what do you call it? He's like a fake candidate.
Yeah,
Like-
he's only there to make the other one seem that much more legitimate.
Yeah, so that when he drops out, even though they have the same exact ideals, like they all look less crazy by comparison.
Trump will drop out, blame the media, and just roll a red carpet out for, someone like Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or fucking Ben Carson.
I hope Ben Carson. Yeah, that pisses me off so much. Do you remember how this shit happened, right?
What do you mean?
Obama ran for president, and people were like, "Black guy's not gonna win," especially from the Republican side. They're like, "Oh, this black dude's not gonna win. I'm not gonna vote for this guy. You're only voting for him because he's black." Then, when the black guy wins, the next campaign, all of a sudden, Herman Cain. Oh, what? What? You're not gonna vote for him just because? You know what I mean? Oh, you voted for the black guy last time. How can you vote for him?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they're just doing the same shit. Because, like I said, in 2008, they weren't trying to put a black guy out there. But in 2012, when it works, now you want a black guy? Oh, and in 2016, you want another black guy? Only one, though. You know, I just find that kind of funny. It's just like, wait a minute. You would not do that shit. I guarantee you, Herman Cain would not be a candidate if Obama did not win in 2008.
Yeah.
And neither would Ben Carson. I guarantee you.
Mm-mm. I do think, though, the whole we can't have a female president, that's kind of gone out the window, I think. I don't hear anyone say that specifically.
Oh, I still
anymore.
do. I hear.
Do you?
See, here's the thing. They know they can't just say we can't have a woman because she's a woman, but they have to do the code word shit where it's like, oh well, she just wouldn't. She would just be too. What is it? She would be too emotional, and who knows what'll happen around that time of the month. It's like that weird sort of like.
Yes, because a woman that time of her month would totally like nuke the whole planet. Like, she fucking lives here too. She can't be that mad.
It's like, wait a minute. It's like guys have dicks. Like, and our stereotype is that we can't think for shit because we're thinking with our dicks all the time. Like, imagine an alternate universe where like women were mainly, in office and the guys were only going once in a while, and then like a guy runs for president, and they pull out the old chestnut. Oh, we can't have that guy running for president now. Just have a secretary go by him and And it's not like we don't have precedent for a secretary, messing up a guy's time in office. So like, I don't know. I just don't like this whole bullshit of like, that is still there. I still see it, and it's really disheartening. But it's like it's not prominent anymore because you can't just do that anymore.
Yeah.
The world is too open. You can't just say that shit. You gotta do code shit like, she's just bitchy and bossy. You gotta go with these code word shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I really, really,
Damn, I wasn't
really
expecting this to
hope
be
happens?
political.
Do you know what I really hope happens?
What? That John Cena just comes out in the last minute?
No,
He was
no,
the presidency.
no. What I really hope happens is that, a lot of people, like a lot of men on the Republican sides are like, oh, we don't need abortion. Abortion is like, really bad and blah, 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 blah. And I just applaud all of my fellow women who say, oh, abortion is terrible, huh? Well, how about we stop subsidizing Viagra with
Right.
funds? Because if
Old dudes having sex is terrible.
if pregnancy is for God's will, then impotence sure fucking is too.
Hey, maybe your dick just wasn't meant to get hard again, man.
Like, I mean, I honestly think that, like, politics in the last, I think since 2001, politics has just gotten worse and worse. Like, it all started when Bush stole the election, and, I mean, they said Al Gore won, he was president anyway, and then, like the fucking weird-ass Republicans who came out of the woodwork during the Obama election in 2008, and then again in 2012. And now, fucking Trump and Ted Cruz. By the way, can I just say that Ted Cruz is more of an immigrant than Obama because he was born in Canada? Just saying.
Yeah.
My thing is, John McCain, I don't remember being that bad. I don't remember John McCain being that bad.
No, John McCain was pretty moderate comparatively.
Yeah,
but he's still. But a lot of people thought that he was going to be Bush too, and they were pretty much correct because his platform was almost the exact same.
Yeah, I get that. But
so it made sense to elect a Democrat, but now like the sides are so extreme. Like even Bernie Sanders is really extreme leftist.
Yeah.
And fucking Donald Trump and all those other candidates are extreme right. And the problem is that there's no moderate candidate like there was. Like Obama wasn't, like, he was left, but he was moderate left. And he's sort of gone a little bit more left since he became president, but when he was elected, he was a moderate left. He, like, and that's what a president should be. It shouldn't be so fucking extreme, it's ridiculous. A president needs to be moderate because
you
need to be able to work with both parties in order to accomplish shit.
Yeah.
But I might not know anything. What do I know? I'm a woman with a vagina.
Canada, get out of here.
I'm also a woman.
Three-party bullshit.
I'm also a woman with a vagina. So what do I know? You know.
Well, I think that about wraps it up.
We're gonna end on vagina, really?
Yes. Half album review, half political discussion.
We're gonna end on vagina.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I could contribute then.
For the Going Off podcast, I'm Rap Critic.
I'm Muse.
Oh, and I'm Jess.
Arrivederci.